What is up, everybody? Ace the Outsider here. Welcome to another episode of the Galactic Tribe podcast. Been a little minute. Had to make some adjustments on the rocket. Had to refuel. Had to make some improvements. Had to consult the board of how the rocket should be flying and all types of things like that. So, yeah, it's beautiful to have the podcast going again. So I think we left off. Did we leave off on episode 1.5? Is that what happened last time?
Yeah, episode 1.5, waiting to excel.
All right, we here now. We here now. Yeah, yo, what's up, Lelouch? How you feeling?
I'm pretty good, man. Had a busy day, a long day of tribe activity,
For
and
sure.
getting ready for another one tomorrow. So I'm keep
Yeah,
it pushing.
yeah. As a reminder to y'all who don't know, the Galactic Tribe is not just a name or a label. It is an organization that is actively doing things in the community, building toward all families, young people, older people, middle people, all the people who need something to be done. Galactic Tribe is out here doing it. So I do want to highlight one of our most recent goals is that we got an app now. So not a lot of
Mhm.
not a lot of nonprofit organizations that have an app out there. So it feels good to have something that's out there circulating and keeping people up to date on what we're doing and just being a great source of information.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first time getting to actually be on the back end of how an app works. I mean, of course, I've used Infinite, so being able to be part of the process of putting it out and seeing how much work it goes into keeping it updated and
Yeah.
running. I mean, it's an experience, man. But I mean, I'm glad to be going through it. This is the job now.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And it's a bit of a cookie cutter. It's a little drag and dropish because of the platform that it's on, but it works though. I mean, I haven't really had any issues with it so far. Like there's kind of some workaround things you got to do with it, but outside of that, it's pretty dang good. So we're gonna keep tweaking it. So make sure you download that app, whether you got an Apple device, Android device, something outside of either one of those. Definitely check out the app. What up, yo? What up, Jamar? What's good? What's good? Peace, bro. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, make sure I get that app. Download that app. I think you can also put it on your tablet or your desktop, depending on what type of device you have too. So yes, you'll be able to look at different events. You'll be able to save events to your calendar. You'll be able to donate to us to keep the program running and everything like that. So hey, get that app. Let us know how you like it. Any feedback we could use is always helpful. So let us know how the app works. And yeah, just get that joint to download. I'm looking forward to seeing how people really like to interact on it. We'll love to find a way if we can put like comments or like get some people to like really chat over it. Um, yeah, I would love to get some more interaction going, but we'll keep working with it for sure.
yeah, give it a download. Let us know what you think. Try to see if you can watch the videos without any problems. See if you have any issues, navigating through our programming. Give us a feedback. We need it. We need you guys' help to improve it. So
Yes,
let
sir.
us know what we can do.
That's it. That's it. So, like I said, a lot of changes on the tribe end. Um, Again, the organization is growing and changing and all these different things. So, let's start with what's been going on. So, I think last time we left off, we were talking about having the programs jump off, and now we here. We are here. We got multiple programs. The Spirit program, which is fitness, mental wellness for young people and their parents. It's a beautiful program. Um, we've been doing that 3 times a week. We've got Shuri's Lab, which is the STEAM program. We've been doing that 2 times a week. And then Wakanda Alliance every second and fourth Saturday. So that's 2 times out the month, but no less work
Hmm.
that goes into that because there's research that goes into it. We might read a comic or watch a cartoon show to kind of like get the bulk of it and then try to break it down bit by bit. Like we just did Moon Girl, right? That was
Hmm.
the last we did. I might have watched that episode maybe 3 times, just trying to figure out what can I possibly like tie into what our theme is. So, yeah, and it's just like we're all working as a team. We're trying some new things out, seeing what sticks, seeing what doesn't, especially with having new people on board. Just trying to make sure everybody's voice is heard and all things are on the table. Like let's sort things out. So it's definitely been a process. Been a process. So, Lulu's, how you been feeling about the transition for the tribe?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an experience, man. Coming in through the business that's hiring us, SSO. Was, now, let me not mess up what that actually stands for. But I mean, it's a demanding thing. There's a lot of training courses that we have to go through.
Hmm.
Uh, mandatory meetings and things. I got to make a trip out to Albany, New York later this year for a health conference to get some more information on, what's happening in the world of New York health. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Hmm.
It's an experience, man. Getting to soak in some of the knowledge from the people that are already professionals in the health space, and then also being able to connect more with everything that we're doing with the tribe. Also,
Hmm.
um, there's a lot to learn, but I'm embracing the journey. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what all comes of it, because I mean it's a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's things for there's budgets, there's grants to apply for, there's applying for the right grants. There is the human part where we're talking to different people and managing people's interactions. There's surveys to make sure what you're doing is effective, and then using those surveys to get better grants, and just so many different levels to it. So listen, y'all, if y'all think about starting a nonprofit, make sure you do your research and make sure there's people around you who also believe in that mission, because if you don't have those two things won't be off to a good start. Again, we started back in 2019, like a good handful of us just trying something new, and some of us coming from that nonprofit background, others completely stepping new into it, like myself. A lot of what I was doing was camera work, entertainment type of thing. So the transition was definitely a growing experience. Just looking at how our grants written, and the same way that I write short stories, or the same way I write social media posts, is not the same language that goes into a grant, right? So just trying to understand what that is, right? And like the other thing is like when you were in English class, right? You had to write. If I say write one more time, I'm getting out of it, but you had to make something. You had to like fill 5 or more pages. Like they gave you a number to hit of number of pages, right? So like you would add in redundant sentences, and just if you had to reach
Fill
a,
in
a
space.
word count, right? You had to add extra words, like an extra the, extra, that to fill up the sentence. And with grants, at least from what I've been noticing, it's completely the opposite. You want to shorten it up. You want to be concise. Like they don't want to see all that flowery language. They want you to tell it
First,
exactly
getting
how
to the
it is.
point.
Yeah, get right to the point, right? And that's like how most things have been structured too. If you have Grammarly on your computer, it's telling you like, oh, this sentence is too long, fam. Switch it up. Cut some of these words out of here. So that's definitely a thing. But yeah, there's been so much I've learned. And just on that wheel, man, it's not like and also it's not like we're jumping into a job that already has a payment structure and all these employees, HR, the benefits and all that. No, we're kind of just starting from scratch. So trying to figure all that out, it has definitely had its challenges. So yeah, it's definitely rough. So if you've ever owned a business, if you want to chat, throw something in the chat about what it takes to start a successful business, or at least a lesson you've learned while running a business. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this job teaches me several of those lessons a day. I feel like, because I mean, to a degree, some of it is things that I've already had experience with. Like I'm pretty good with dealing with kids. I've always felt myself as a big kid anyway, so we
Mhm.
found ways to relate pretty easily. I've always had experience with, like, traveling and setting up events. That's something I've done pretty frequently, and I kind of enjoy doing, honestly. Getting finding ways to improve the process, but I mean, getting curriculums together for the events that we host. Also, dealing with all the different environments that we're in consistently. Like, I'm used to more so being in one place, working a set of hours, and then get happen by my day. And this is like, nah, we go to this spot, then we got to slide to this spot, then we got to go get supplies to go to the next spot,
Yeah.
and you still. there's still things that you have to make sure you do every day to keep that maintenance too. But
Mm-hmm.
day
Mm-hmm.
to day switches, and you got to be able to adjust to it quickly. So
Yeah.
it's definitely an experience, man.
Yeah. And what time you figure out what works and what doesn't, so you got to be.
Miss Lewis.
Oh, hey, Miss Johnson. Hello, hello, Dr. Johnson, rather.
No, I'm sorry, Dr. Johnson. Thank you again
Yeah,
for the training that you hosted for us last Friday. Well,
yeah.
two
Like,
Friday was that?
it was
That was
all.
two Thursdays. It's two
Yeah,
Thursdays ago. Man,
gotcha.
that was fast.
Right, this time
Mm.
to fly. Yeah, so that's part of the Reimagine the Change grant that was granted to a lot of the organizations here in Buffalo. So part of that was going through psychological first aid training, which I didn't know was a thing. Like I didn't know it was a thing. But going through it, I was like, oh, okay, no, this is important. This has value. For those who don't know, psychological first aid is essentially how to address somebody who's been affected by a heavy psychological situation. Not to the extent of like schizophrenia or PTSD, but there might be some situations where a person has been affected by something in the past, and maybe they realize they're affected by it, maybe they don't, but you have to be careful um not to trigger anything with them, or just use calming language. Like sometimes the way we talk to a stranger can't be the same way we talk to our family or friends. Sometimes the way we talk to a person who is a patron of our organization, we can't talk to them the same way we do our friends. So we have to take care that there's like a neutral type of language that you can use with people, but also a language that is welcoming and inviting, because people will have their guard up. We're in a society where there's so many different things that people will throw at you based on how you look or how you talk, how you act. And there's different ways to approach that. So you have to be mindful of that, as and that's something for both sides too. Someone might be trying to help you, but you might not know how to take help. You might not know how to, lower your guard so that you can, get to the next step, whatever it is. So psychological first aid training is definitely something I think a lot of people could use, especially police. Like, yeah, yeah. Like, I don't know what type of training they do, but I definitely think a lot of police, a lot of people who are in the human protection area could definitely utilize. So, yeah.
No, I thoroughly agree. Like going through that training course also helped me to realize some of my own traumas that I just kind of been skipping over for a while,
Yeah.
and there's an understanding that it doesn't have to be a gigantic event to really traumatize someone, and understanding exactly how to recognize that trauma when it's there, and then finding ways to safely fix it. That I can't think of too many things more important in any type of business, any type of interaction when you're dealing with
Hmm.
multiple people, because I mean, you don't know what a person's carrying that day. So being able to recognize when someone is not being themselves, but then and also being able to get them to a point where they can feel more comfortable, at least
Hmm.
like that.
Hmm.
That can make all the difference, because that could be the difference between somebody going over the edge and staying over the brink. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And like the word trauma has been like more of a buzzword in most recent years than I think I've ever. Like, if you know how like you look for a definition and it tells you like the use of a word, like
mhm.
it'll be like this, and then like 2017 hits and suddenly it's like up here. So, but I think part of what people are realizing is that there's so much more to what trauma is than just like an event or something like that. And to deal with it doesn't happen overnight. It could take years for someone to understand it, and then even more so, how to deal with it properly. So, not that we're gonna get too deep on that subject today, but definitely, the subject is definitely there. So, if you're dealing with something, please definitely seek help. Talk to somebody who can help, help in a good way too, not just trying to give you a band-aid for the moment when
Mhm.
you've got a gash that's gashing, that's leaking out. So, but yeah, so with that said, everything that's been going on, and us trying to do different things too, I'm gonna just briefly touch on some extracurricular things we've been doing. So here in Buffalo, there's space, but there's not a lot of space for people who are interested in, like, I guess, alternative Black activities, whether it is um, video games or certain types of music and everything like that. And so, Lelouch and I were talking, trying to think of some new things to bring to the atmosphere here. And so we started working on a project called Buffalo Blurred Parties, where we're inviting people out to play video games, dress up in their cosplays, and just having like a really good time. And they've been incredibly successful lately. So it's been a nice evolution here in the area. And a lot of the what I mean, going back to what people are saying, what we are just saying about comfort and things like that, these have been parties where people like feel comfortable. They don't feel alienated because they're interested in, particular forms of media, whether it is reading or anime or cartoons or video gaming. Like you can wear a shirt for your favorite character, and someone will walk up to you and tell you how much they love that character. And then now y'all have something to kind of bond over right then and there. Like the same way, like you wear a jersey out somewhere, someone will come up to tell you about how much they love your favorite team or don't like your favorite team. But in most cases, no one's gonna come up to you and say, "Yo, Naruto is trash." Like, why would you ever wear? Let me tell you about this guy. Like he just threw his life aside to go chase this man instead of settling down with Hanata. Like, yeah,
It's like, well, you know me, I do that on the normal. So like, maybe that's not the best example,
right,
but
yeah.
most people are a lot less abrasive than me when it comes to that type of stuff. Yeah.
This is true. This is true. But yeah, it's been a nice project. I won't call it a side project because the way people have reacted to it is not side by any means. A lot of people are, just being able to be themselves around each other and around people they know and don't know. I think like meeting strangers, for the first time and finding out how many people actually love the thing that you're into, that's a really comforting feeling. So check it out. Buffalo Blur Parties. There's going to be a lot more of those coming soon. So yeah,
Yeah, it's been a great experience. This feels like, at least for me, the parties feel like all the birthdays that I wanted to have back when I was a kid. You got the group over there playing the video games, got the
yeah,
music playing. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I wish there was alcohol when I was young, but I probably shouldn't say that. But it is what it is.
yeah.
There's alcohol there too, so
Yeah.
it
I mean, you generally weren't thinking about that too. Like your version of alcohol was like pizza. You know what I mean? Like, well, I don't know how you were growing up, but like I was just about having fun. Like I didn't really even start doing that until I was like well into college. Well, the first year in college.
no, yeah. My first year in college is the first time that I actively chose to drink.
Oh, okay,
But
gotcha.
the, there's some stories to unpack from that. But we'll
For a
get to
different
that.
podcast,
Yeah,
absolutely.
not the Galactic Tribe
Yeah,
podcast.
right.
But, no, I think the reception of them has been really great. I think the impact on the city is actually noticeable already. Like so many people are so excited about the blurredom itself, and I don't know if that was necessarily it was a thing that existed here already, but people weren't outwardly showcasing how much they enjoyed it. And I think that's kind of starting to tilt a little bit, and I appreciate being a part of that process, at least to a degree.
Yeah, yeah. And I got a question too. Like, have we had the blurred versus Afrofuturist conversation? I feel like we haven't like
Hmm?
went in depth with that.
That's a whole episode in itself.
That
We
is
for sure got to do that one.
Yeah, yeah. I think we were going to work on an article for the blog, but we never really got it off the ground. So,
Hmm.
but we do want to get some feedback on that. So if you're listening and tuning in, what do you think the differences are between a blurred and an Afrofuturist? Because I think there's a lot of parallels, but there's also a lot of like different things in there as well. So. Sometimes being a blurred feels like a bigger like umbrella term, like people who are into forensic science could be blurs, in some degree. It can encapsulate a whole bunch of different things. Blurred might encapsulate Afrofuturist more than Afrofuturist incorporates a blurred or encapsulates a
Hmm.
blurred. So, um, yeah, I think that could be a really great conversation. We'll come back to that for sure.
I definitely agree because there's a lot of crossover between the two. I mean, even at BlurCon, you see a lot of Afrofuturist things, and I mean that's BlurCon is one of the meccas for blurredom.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back there again next year, but
For sure.
we got a winter to survive for that.
That we do, and with winter coming through, we gotta address like how are we going to deal with this season, amongst other things too. When the season comes, we still got to go to work, we still got to be active, and some of the things we've committed to. And Lelouch and I were talking earlier about decompression and how to unwind with all these different things going on, especially with us simultaneously starting 3 to 4 different programs and like not really being able to well, not that we aren't able to, but like not having not okay. So it's not like we didn't have a plan going into it, but there's definitely like a capacity that needs to be understood, and a method to address that capacity and what it takes to still be successful, what it takes to still execute the projects and the programs without overexerting ourselves, so yeah, that was the topic today. And I think we had some pretty good back and forth today that we're just like, let's throw this into the podcast.
Mm.
Especially, a lot of our listeners are from the Buffalo area, or at least the upper East Coast, and go through seasonal things. Like, I didn't know that people actually had seasonal depression.
Oh, that's a real thing.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I had no idea that it was this crazy. Um, but yeah, and then like the other day, I also like suffered my first, I guess, migraine. Like, I didn't know that's what I was going through. So I'm sitting there, what is it, early in the day. It's not even like I'm having like a crazy day. This is like 10 a.m. So I've been up for like maybe 2 hours, and I'm watching Static Shock, just enjoying the TV. And then I look at my phone and I'm like, yo, why can't I read my phone right now? It was like there was a split going down my vision. I'm just like, what is this about? And so then I started seeing like snowy dots and everything like that. I'm like, oh, this has never happened to me before. And I was having like a bit of a headache too. So I'm like, what is going on? Um, so I went to sleep, kind of like slept it off. I woke up and my head was feeling better, but I was still like, well, what was that with my vision? Is this like a thing? Because I mean, don't tell my optometrist, but I should have been going to get checked for glaucoma a long time ago. And last time I did it, the doctor cursed me out in the way that a doctor can curse you out without actually swearing at you. Um, and she was cute, so I still have listened. But it's all good. But anyway, um, yeah, nah. That so then I explained it to my fiance, and she was just like, "Hey, that sounds like what this other person had." She would explain the same thing you explained, and that was what a migraine was. I'm like, "Yo, I've never like people have told me what a migraine is, and would kind of explain it, and I would like give them space because I didn't want to overexert them, but I never knew what experiencing that was." So I had thought it was dehydration. I thought it could have been sleeping habits. I thought it was a couple different things. So um, yeah, it was definitely something to consider, especially at my age. I mean, I'm 32 going on 33. I'm not super old or anything like that, but I am, developing, and then, I've reached like the peak of my bodily development for the most part. So there are some things to consider, about how I approach sleep, diet, all these different things that were okay in the 20s when you're like,
Mm.
yeah, you got things, things
Like
are
who needs sleep? I can party till 5 a.m. and then go to work at 7 a.m.
yeah,
Not a
yeah.
problem.
I can get this project done before then. Well, I'm fine. I'm Gucci. What? Yeah. Yeah, no. I can't remember the last time I pulled an all nighter willingly. Like, it just not has not happened in a while. So, um, but yeah, so that's what it's like. Yeah, let's talk about a little bit of decompression right now, for sure. Yeah.
You know, yeah, and I can definitely relate. Just understanding that there are so many different pressures from different sources, and if you don't know how to channel those or kind of get them out of your body, it can backfire. Like it can make you act outside of your character, whether it be from stress, whether it be from an ailment of some kind. If you are not putting yourself in a position where you are like actually like happy to a degree, yeah, it's gonna come back to you. Making sure that you are taking care of your mental health is important because if you don't, it's going to come and bite you, and you know what eventually.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, and there's more tools out there than ever to kind of regulate, how you approach a lot of different things. So like even with your cell phone, right? They've implicated dark modes and the warm screen function on your cell phone, the sleep function too, or the part where your phone can go grayscale and then you don't get notifications, which is great. I'm like, I wish I would have had this later or earlier because I'm just like, yo, my phone stay pinging. Every app you have is trying to get you engaged because that's how they're designed, right? We're in a society where those apps are designed to keep you engaged so people can make their money. So, with that being said, you have to have a type of regulatory tool in place. Same thing with social media apps, TikTok, for example. People will spend so much time working that. Is it serotonin or dopamine? I want to say it's dopamine.
That dopamine.
Yeah, yeah, you get like a jolt of like excitement by this pattern. Like your human nature is programmed to respond to this in a particular way. And so, you have to understand that science and you have to utilize that science in the way that's great for you because if somebody has a compulsive TikTok thing, like TikTok's not gonna be responsible for that. Like they
Hmm.
have no responsibility, and so you got to take responsibility into your own hands. Especially those parents out there. A lot of these families that we talk to at the Galactic Tribe are annoyed that they use technology, like their kids use technology so much, but they're also the same parents that will put a tablet in their kids' hands to keep them quiet because trying to deal with them otherwise is too much. And I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to say that is advantageous or not. I think there's a delicate balance of both, in order to keep a child, I guess, pacified to a degree, but also keep them entertained.
Hmm.
So yeah, so there's a lot of things to consider there, but there's definitely a lot of tools that parents can use to manage their kids' time with the internet and with devices.
Hmm. No, absolutely. And then also just recognizing things that are potential stressors. Like
Hmm.
you might not be in a active state when you're scrolling through whatever social media that you are, but that is a stressor for your brain, for your eyes. Like if you are, if that's how you spend all of your downtime, you're not actually putting yourself in a rested state at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
So you got to find ways to, space yourself from that for a little bit.
Hmm.
Maybe, find something that you enjoy. Maybe go read something. Maybe watch your favorite show. Sip some tea and talk to your friends. But having yourself constantly in stressful situations is going to accumulate over time. Yeah, and even things like sleep can be affected by that too. Because I mean, if you're going straight from social media, like, well, first of all, if you're on social media while you're trying to go to sleep, you're probably not going to get to sleep anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like it's there, it's infinite cases of oh, I'll lay down in bed to start responding to one message, and then a comment comes, and then next thing I know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and literally cut on my own rest by doing nothing. So
Yeah.
finding ways to kind of space yourself from whether it's your phone, your tablet, your computer, whatever you are surfing on. If you are a social media person like that, give yourself that space. Also, again, find spaces where you can actually, you know, take time to think about yourself too. Like, you can get into a flow of like, oh yeah, I have to do this thing, I have to do that thing, I have to do that thing,
Hmm.
and then in that time, it's like, whoa, did you eat? Are you hydrated? Are you did you actually get some sleep, like adequate sleep, like
Hmm.
not the 4 hours beforehand and then got to get up and work in the morning, or a quick cat nap after who knows what, and then having to get up and be active again. Like, make sure you're taking that time to actually process whether you are capable of doing the tasks that you have to do consecutively. That's important.
Yeah, yeah, and just taking breaks in between that. It shouldn't just be when you first start your day or at the end of the day. Like, take breaks in between. I was telling the kids at Spear that you have to follow a 20-20-20 rule. So, which most people, most kids are not going to follow this to the exact T, but For every 20 minutes of active like screen time that you have, take 20 seconds to look, take 20 seconds to look at something that's 20 feet away. And, just kind of take a break to look at the side of the wall or like just ease a little bit before you go back into it. So, I want to make sure that they try to utilize those as much as they can because, and again, most kids are not gonna. That's like one game of Fortnite. So, or just like close your eyes for a little bit, just like ease back a little bit, close your eyes, put your hand over your eyes because light can still pass through to your eyes, even though your eyelids are there. So, like, make sure that you just give your eyes a rest a little bit. Try some massages, massage your temple, massage your eyelids. Just take different approaches to make sure different points of contact on your face can go a long way. So it's not just your muscles that need massages, but it's also your face and eyes and some of your organs that need massages too. So yeah, a lot of different self-care techniques. So maybe we'll start doing that too with some of our posts, Lelouch, like just self-care tips. I think can go a long way. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
yeah. If we're talking about Afrofuturism, we got to get to the future somehow. So, and it's not like these screens are stopping anytime soon. Um,
Their goal is to occupy as much of your time as physically possible. So,
yeah.
don't let them win completely. Like, yeah, of course. What if you are a business owner or just like the casual social media goer? Like, there are things in place to try to occupy as much of your time as physically possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, just be conscious of that. Be aware of how much time you are spending on, social media. Be aware how much time you're spending looking at a screen. Because, I mean, if you don't balance it, it's easy for you to lose yourself in it and just like, oh, it has been like 3 months since I've like actually spent a day and not read, while watched TV or stared at this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Be aware, because again, it'll come back and bite you.
Yep. So definitely take them walks outside and get a little sunshine on your skin, unless you live in Buffalo between the months of like November and like April, because walking outside becomes a moot point. There's just no point. It'd be like if there's like an artificial like sun generator you can just put in your house and like have a little treadmill, then that could be the equivalent. Because nah. But
Yeah,
like even in the winter too, I think that we got to find alternative methods of keeping ourselves active. So definitely something to keep in mind. Go
yeah,
ahead.
we got to push that patent when we get the business set. It's like, this is your sunroom
Yeah.
specifically for Buffalo area, so you can still get that proper UV radiation that you need. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Kind of like that was in Black Panther too, right? Didn't he have like a glowing
Mm-hmm.
or something? Yeah, it didn't give off any heat though. It was just like bright,
Yeah.
which is weird because like their physiology should adapt to like darker things because of the depth of anyway. So whatever.
Yeah.
We don't need to go that far into it, but yeah. So favorite ways of decompression. Um, yeah, like I said, I love taking walks. Um, I do like, I mean, my martial arts sometimes can be a nice switch mentally. Physically, though, you know, I need to work on like more physical things because yoga's it's cool, stretching is fine, but sometimes they're just so ingrained into my routine that they kind of feel like work too. So really, I just gotta stop moving sometimes. Like I gotta stop, stop and smell the roses. I like to read the comics too, so I don't read them as much as I don't read like I just don't digest a bunch of comics all together like I used to. But trying to find something that isn't a screen, going to a park and reading or going to like a coffee shop and reading, those are like some good things that I use to decompress. And just also just making the time too, just gotta schedule it in. You gotta have that date as blocked off to where people do not contact you, people do not get to text you or call you or disrupt you from that peace that you deserve. So those are some of my good ways of decompression. Um, and I'll tell you what doesn't work: video games. Video games do not. So I'll be more clear on that. So video games can help. I love to play Pokemon and everything like that. When they dropped Pokemon Arceus, where like you're in the fields and there's like calming music and everything like that. Like that was like open world exploration. Those games are fun. Those games are great ways to decompress. Apex Legends, sort of again because like there's some interaction. There's people cursing you out online if you don't do the do the right thing. So there's definitely certain games. I know that both of our partners play what's the one where they're on the ship and they're guiding spirits to the afterlife.
Oh, uh,
Yeah, Spiritfarer. I just said.
yeah.
Yeah,
Duh.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
about to call Felicia like she's here, but she's not here yet. It's like,
yeah, yeah. But yeah, no,
hmm,
games like that can definitely be easy. But this is why I can't stream. I can't stream and play video games because that's like my piece. But now I'm like trying to entertain people after
hmm.
like spending all day talking and interacting with other people and trying to keep their attention on things. So the last thing I want to do with my video games, with my piece, is like talk to more people.
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah,
So yeah, honest video game. It really does depend on the type of game that if it's like decompressing for me or not. Because like
right,
again, if it's something that's like really high pressure or directly competitive, usually not. Depending on this, like
right,
the high pressure situation in a shooter, probably not going to be relaxing too much. But swinging through this city as Miles Morales in this new Spider-Man
man,
is magnificent, right? Like
yeah,
that is, I feel like that game has helped my mental health so much in
hmm
the short time that it's been out.
hmm
Um, so yeah, like things where you can. I don't know if there's an actual like name for it, like where you don't have to use too much brain power, but still are focusing on to something to a degree.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's like a term like mindful games or anything like that, but perhaps there is like and I'm sure like there's been I've been seeing more categories under these games too. Like they'll tell you like what to expect, as a category in the game. So I've been seeing things like that. I think that games are taking an interesting approach to that. Like there's so many varieties out there that not like Tetris, but this is still like a very relaxing game. So one of the games I played was called Color Zen, where like you gotta drag a color to hit another color, and that like unlocks. It's kind of hard to explain, but there's like really relaxing music, and like they had an album. You can just buy the album and like listen to like the Zen music that went along with it. But it's like a very relaxing game that I think could be nice to reset with.
Hmm.
It's not like Angry Birds or um Clash of Titans or anything like that, where there is some excitement or whatever. But games that are really like toned down and can be a lot easier. Um, Even those like there's like a lot of exploration games too. Like
Mm-hmm.
was it like no sky, no
Yeah, No
man
Man's Sky.
sky? Yep,
Mm.
yep,
Yeah, I think Ghost of Tsushima does a really good job of letting you kind of explore that and take in the beauty of it.
yeah,
That game was really relaxing for me at the time.
yeah, yeah. You know what happened my first day playing? I got attacked by a bear.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got mauled by a bear my first play. Like day one, like 2 hours, like not even 2 hours into it. I'm like riding in the field. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Riding on a horse, look at these beautiful things. And next thing you know, this little marker comes up. I'm like, well, what's over there? Because I don't see nothing. So I get off my horse, go to investigate. I see a bear claw come up. I'm like, what's that? Next thing you know, this black bear just comes out of nowhere. I go to try to swipe it. I'm thinking I can like
Fight
dodge
it.
there.
One shot.
Yeah, no, the bear, yeah, definitely just one shot at me. I'm just like, yo, what the F just happened? Yo, I didn't know this could like, and I like people told me you can hunt in the game. I didn't know you would be hunted. Yeah, no, that was crazy. But I'm glad it was relaxing for you because yeah, no, that was
You got to know where to be. Like, if you see a bunch of cherry blossoms, that's a place you can ride around in. If you see a bunch of trees and, you see look like you get into an area where a story mission is being, you don't want to be there. Not for leisure at
oh,
least.
this is Mongol territory. Okay, probably
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah. But go out there, find some of them haikus.
There you
Get
go.
some of those off.
Yeah,
go to one of those spots where you just can play the flute and listen to the music. Like it was some beautiful scenery in that game, man.
yeah,
That was a gem.
yeah, yeah. And then to go back to Spider-Man too. I mean, besides swinging in the city, I think they were like, can you like do like music missions where you like
Mm-hmm.
the sounds of the city and then like you make a new track? Yeah. So yeah, I
And
thought that.
that was a mechanic in the Miles Morales game. And they kind of incorporated to a degree in Spider-Man 2, and
Mm.
it's actually becomes like a really important piece of the story.
Oh wow!
So
All right.
that was cool.
Sweet.
Um, I think the relaxing, like there's a lot of points around the city where you have to go and like take a picture of something that's happening within the city.
Mm-hmm.
So getting back and seeing like how they portray certain scenes, I thought that was really kind of relaxing there too. And then like they made maneuvering around the city so easy in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like between the different methods of swinging that you already had, being able to glide around the city. They got like literal like launch pads where you can just catapult yourself around. That's actually an ability, so you can kind of do it yourself at any time. But
Wow.
there's certain spaces where it's more effective than others, of course. But
Mm-hmm.
like traversal is just so relaxing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, man, I just really like crossed the city of New York easy. That's not something you can do in real life. Like that's not how it works.
All right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's beautiful, man. I really can't think of too many negative things to say about that game. Even like in fights, it to a degree, it's like you can get into a flow state with how smooth the combat is.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
even that ended up being like therapeutic to me after a while. Just like,
Uh-huh.
oh, I just racked up this 67 hit combo. Let me try to push for this 100.
Right. Yeah, that's some fluid mechanics, man. And I'm glad you're enjoying the game. I will catch up eventually in my Afrofuturism when I have a PS5.
It's the future, Just the Xbox also exists. They got some cool games somewhere, probably. I don't know what they are, but they got them.
I'm beyond it now. I've made my decision. I'm going over to PS5. Um, but yeah, so you brought up an interesting topic. Speaking of games, you were like, "Yo, what is like your perfect ideal game?" So,
Get into
yeah,
it, man.
yeah,
Game
yeah.
builder.
Let's get into it. So, I didn't get to put too much thought into it. Um, but I thought about like some things that I want to see, and like I feel like a lot of games don't really address like black experience. Like there's characters who kind of have it, but there's no like, and it's also like hard to do that because there aren't a lot of black game developers, not a lot of support behind them as well. Um, a lot more than we've ever had before, but still there's a lack of it. So in that imagination that I was just thinking about, I'm like, what if there was a civil rights fighting game? I don't know how I got here. Like I was like, as you said it, I was just like, yeah, there should be something about blackness. And I thought about like, a cop, like police versus black people, which sucked as an idea. Like I don't want to play a story with that because that would be triggering and traumatic unless I was like a bulletproof black guy. And I've like, I've never been called the N word by another character. I've only been
Bro,
called the N word
bro,
by someone on the other side.
I
So,
got it. I got
yeah.
it.
Uh-huh.
Assassin's Creed Montgomery.
Yo, wait a minute. That would be insane. That would be that is ridiculous. I'm gonna start a list of your ridiculous ideas, and I'm gonna just like start naming them. That would be funny. Um, I think a lot of people have thought about like a modern Assassin's Creed game, and just like taking down like the CIA or COINTELPRO. Like to
Mm,
do that during the civil rights era would be like insane. Um, but
you
yeah,
gotta you
well,
gotta like stop them from the trying to facilitate the JFK, It's all of that. You gotta try to stop all those things that happened in 1963 from happening, and there's a lot. There's a lot.
That is so politically charged. That so that and then, like I thought about that too, but I'm like, how can I kind of tone this down so that's enjoyable? And then I'm like, okay, what if it's just like, what if it's Def Jam Fight for New York, but it's civil rights, just like you know what I mean, like just
Jesse Jackson throwing hands with MLK.
you know what I mean, like yo, come on, and then like you throw some of the antagonists in there, some Nixon, throw Nixon in there, you know what I mean, and have him talk some mess, and then you just tell on him like, yo, what's up? I think that'd be fire. Yeah, nah, and so after I thought about that for a little bit, I was like, okay, let me find something else because this is trying to think about my favorite game. So one of my favorite games growing up, besides Pokemon, was Crash Bash, right? Which is like the Mario Party version for Crash Bandicoot. And I never really played much of uh, Mario Party, but Crash Bash, that one was a little different. It was a little more fun, a little more goofy, and I just had a lot of fun with it. And so then I was thinking like, okay, how can I make Crash Bash better? And the next thing I wrote down was like Marvel Ultimate Alliance because that was one of my favorite games growing
That
up.
was a sleeper. That was
Yeah,
a sleeper.
yeah. And I recently went back and played it all the way through. So I just thought about bringing those two together. Like, what if it was Crash Bash and like Marvel superheroes? So you're playing mini games with different superheroes. It's not even my favorite idea right now, but I wrote it down. So, there it is.
Actually, I don't think I ever played Crash Bash. Like I've always saw like the promo for it back on.
Yeah,
I think was that PS1 or PS2. I think it was PS2.
PS1
Is
actually.
it what?
I want to say, yeah, because it was old, man. It was like early 2000s that this
'Cause
game came out. Because I was
I,
young, I was super young, and it might have been PS2 by a slim margin, but I could have sworn it was like,
yeah,
yeah,
'cause I mean, PS1 that's like 95.
hmm yeah, but it was
I
around.
don't remember the PS2 dropped though.
The PS2 had to be like 01, 02.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's worth looking up that what that answer is. I want to say that it was up to like 2002, but no, but I had it. I owned it. So that means because I never owned like a PS2, it was always at my dad's or at my grandparents' house. And because if that was the case, I would have been unlocking everything all the time because neither one of them had a dang memory card. So I had to, someone got me Final Fantasy 10. There's no way you play that game without a memory card.
Oh my, because it's too well. 10 was a two discer, wasn't it? Or was it just yeah?
I think they might have had an option one, but in any case, no, you don't. You do not. That's it's like trying to play Pokemon without saving. Like, why would you do this?
Oh my, oh my God! Could you imagine if they like made a Pokemon game on a thing that required memory cards? Like,
That'd be insane. That my money stops there. I'll bust out my my Game Boy SP and play Emerald version right the heck over because ain't no way that I play a Pokemon game without having a memory card. Like, no,
oh my God!
yeah, no way.
So for me, I'm gonna go in a bit of a different direction for my game. It will be a fusion of two more recent games that actually already exist. And that's Baldur's Gate 3 because I love I love the customization. I love the interaction that you can have with the environment, with all the characters, with the world, with all it. Every NPC can present you with something that's just like, oh, my whole game is now different from a
Okay.
conversation.
Uh,
So I love the spontaneity of Baldur's Gate and the depth of the world building. But the gameplay is probably gonna be Diablo. Like I want it to be like a beat 'em up kind of thing where you're just sending me hordes and hordes of enemies for me to put down. That actually is therapeutic for me, and that might be something I have to get checked eventually. We'll get that the G-Trop therapist on that eventually.
I
But
do like hordes. Like when you're doing like hordes of like waves of enemies, I do like those types of modes. So that's cool. Yeah.
it's it starts off difficult, but then somewhere it gets relaxing in there. I don't know exactly how that works out. But
Oh yeah, because I mean, you're just unleashing carnage on your enemy at that point. Like another example, so like we were talking about Transformers, War for Cybertron, right? Remember the horde mode from that? The one
love that game.
I'm so mad in the second one they made it like limited, so where it's like
Mm.
there's a max level or whatnot. But like in the first one it was unlimited, like you just kept on going, so like you could just unleash havoc on all these little robots. So yeah, nah, but I do like a good beat 'em up game, and that's kind of like what I would think about too with a civil rights beat 'em up, because maybe you know what I mean. Like I would love the special where like Rosa Parks just throws somebody into a moving bus like that. That's fire to me. You know.
So this is made by the people that made Mortal Kombat. Then that's just like that. Okay.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
Finish.
yeah, just throw a white judge into it. Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Malcolm X actually uses that gun that he had in that picture. Shoots
Hmm.
from the window. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Did you get more or less points for like taking out fire hydrants? Like, like how does that work? Like,
A good question. I don't know.
I feel like there has to be like some type of collectible, like going past all the fire
Yeah,
hydrants and like disabling them ahead of time. Like, I feel like that has to be
there's
like
definitely an enemy that comes out, hooks up to the fire hydrant, and like tries to spray you, like the Simpsons joint. Like imagine
Mhm.
like one of them coming out and just like hitting you with the fire hydrant. Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. Team attacks would be fire. You know what I mean? I think that'd be pretty dang dope.
Mhm.
Maybe get like a right bumper assist from Kobe Bryant. Like that'd be sick. That'd be
Hey,
sick. Yep, yep.
Kobe time traveling back to the civil rights era and unleashing that Mamba mentality. Uh, yeah, let's get it. Let's get it.
Yep.
Imagine a whole civil rights movement operating under Mamba mentality. Nothing they can't do.
There's,
Nothing.
there's absolutely nothing they can't do. Yeah. Yep. Or you do something like where you give Malcolm X the powers of Magneto and Professor X get the power of
We got a winner. We got a winner. I don't know why I didn't
Yo,
immediately
come
go to
on.
that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yo,
Yep. You got MLK
uh,
and
so
telepathy
is
and
it
everything.
the M men at that point?
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with M Men. Yep.
Yeah, because I mean MLK would have to be Professor X in that.
Yeah.
So I mean, the M men versus the Brotherhood of.
Whiteness.
It's like, I mean, honestly,
Not even Brotherhood of
no
Evilness.
no verses. They just work from different sides of the spectrum.
That's it. Yeah.
Like you do what you do, we do, and sometimes we don't collaborate. Sometimes I can't be seen with you, but
Yeah.
we ain't got to fight. That's
I'm
the
just trying to take my MLK Park sign and throw it at a Klansman and just like see what happens. I just want to just wham. Like that should be a special. He should be able to pick up his MO because there's an MLK Park Boulevard in like every city. And
Mm-hmm.
every city it is a dilapidated, uncared for park.
Yo, I got it. The
Yeah.
Sentinels spawn from the fire hydrants.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that's what it is. That's how it works.
That's it right there. That's it right there. Yeah.
It's those just like the posts that they just like come up out the ground from, and that's how we got Sentinels. Yep.
Mhm. Yep. Yep. Yeah. This game can get pretty crazy pretty dang quick. So we're gonna pitch it to Rockstar Games and see what they think. And if not, then we're gonna Activision and
Hey, worst case scenario, we could just make it a mod and put it into GTA.
there we go.
Like.
That'll be it. That'll be it. So I'm glad we got to have a little jokey time. We were both like beat from this week. So yeah, appreciate y'all listening to another Galactic Tribe podcast. Definitely again download that app. Check that app out because this podcast will be posted on that app as soon as we're done. And you'll be able to watch media. You can watch some of the videos we've done. You'll be able to donate to the program. You'll be able to see the upcoming events. We're also going to try to find a way to incorporate worksheets and downloadables so that kids can work on drawing or stuff like that. So yeah, we're gonna have some more lined up for y'all. So definitely check it out. Let us know what you think, and we'll build on it as we go. Yeah.
Again, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Catch us. Well, this episode will be uploaded to the app relatively soon. Be ready for that if you If you haven't downloaded that app, go ahead and hit that button again. Yeah, it's available on both Apple and Android, so it's no excuse to not download it. Give us some feedback on what you think of it. And follow our social media. Go to the galactictribe.org to stay attached to everything that we're doing as well. And keep it pushing, man.
That's it. That's it. So follow me on Instagram at Ace the Outsider. Follow Wakanda Alliance at Wakanda Alliance, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And yeah, Lelouch, you want to drop your tags real quick?
Follow me, Lush V on Instagram. Go to blur.com to check out some of the blogs that I post regularly, and find Odysseus on Facebook. That's usually where I'm yelling at somebody about something. Typically.
All right. All right, y'all. So until then, keep the future forward. We'll see you soon.